So my name is Roxy. I'm a strength and mobility coach for Jiu-Jitsu athletes. I coach mostly women, but there are some men on my platform as well. I have the app, which is called Ready to Roll. I have free workouts on there as well if you would like to do it. And I offer one-on-one personal coaching with every single member of the app. So my goal is to help you find the perfect schedule, get strong, get flexible, feel capable on the mats. So let's talk scheduling. How to create the best schedule for strength training and jiu-jitsu that allows you to progress at both. So the goal is that we want to get stronger in the gym without burning ourselves out in jiu-jitsu. So I'm going to run you through a few things that will hopefully help you to figure out what the best schedule for you is. So we've got a few things that I hope you can read on the right-hand side here about what we want to look at first. So first of all, what is our priority? If you have a competition coming up and your priority is your skill acquisition, sharpening your jiu-jitsu, then strength training will have to take a little bit of a seat on the back burner for the time being. So that's the first thing. If you don't have any competitions coming up and you just want to get strong, you keep getting injured, you feel small, you feel weak, whatever it is, then we focus mostly on the strength training, but we do still train jiu-jitsu as well on the side, but we just make sure that it's balanced enough that we're getting the progress that we want from both. Next up, we need to look at the current schedule, and this needs to be realistic. We don't want to be like, all right, I'm going to strength train 5 days a week and I'm going to go to jiu-jitsu 6 days a week, and then on the weekends I'm going to run sprints and I'm going to do all this stuff. It needs to be realistic, sustainable, and something that you can actually do for a long period of time, because that is where you see the results. When you repeat things over and over, repetition and consistency are much better than just going hard for a week and then falling off the wagon because you're exhausted and you're sore and you're injured. Next up, we've got our previous gym experience. So your schedule will depend a lot on how much experience you've got in the gym, because when you're newer to the gym or newer to some movements, sometimes you can end up a little bit more sore than people who are a little bit more experienced. So if that is you, starting with less sessions and then slowly adding them in, or increasing the intensity or the length of the sessions, can actually be a better approach. Next up is your jiu-jitsu experience. You'll probably know if you're a white belt, especially if you're a new white belt, that it can be exhausting. It can be hard to sleep at night. Your adrenaline is pumping. You don't know what the hell is going on. You're sore because you're always on the bottom. So if this is you, then jiu-jitsu is probably going to be taking more out of you than it might from someone who is a higher level, depending on the type of training that they're doing. If you've got a purple or a brown belt who's a hobbyist and they're going and most of their training partners are a little bit smaller and they're not into competitions, then they're probably going to pull up a lot better than a white belt, regardless of the white belt's age, only because you haven't yet learned how to control your intensity and also how to just not be on the bottom so much. And lastly, we want to make sure there is recovery in our week. We want a minimum, a 24-hour period where there's zero training, absolute minimum. I would prefer that there were 2 24-hour periods throughout your week where there's zero training. And this can be scary for some people because I know, you think more is better, and that's fair enough, but it's not actually the case. We want to be pulling it back to our minimum effective dose so that we can push hard in the gym, we can increase the intensity when we need to, we can allow that recovery arc to happen so that we can then make the most of it when we're in that period of strength building to continue to build strength. The other thing is, if you're always exhausted and sore from the gym and you go to jiu-jitsu and you're too sore and you don't roll properly, or you end up hurting yourself or your partner, it's not a good place to be. Right, so let's look at our week, Monday through Sunday. I'm going to base this off just a standard person's schedule and what I recommend. Obviously, some people prefer to train jiu-jitsu more. They have open mats and whatever. It's up to you to sort of figure out what works best for you. So let's say Monday, we've got jiu-jitsu class. Wednesday, we've also got jiu-jitsu. So this person actually trains 3 days a week at jiu-jitsu. On the same day, they actually do their strength training. That's what that says, strength training. Now, if you're new to the gym This might feel really difficult. Also, if you are a mother or a father, you've got a family, you've got kids, you have other responsibilities, a job, it might just not be possible for time's sake. And that is totally fine. It's up to you. I know some people get up really early to get their strength training in, but again, if that is making you miss out on sleep, it's probably not the best option either. It might be better to spread it out through the week, because remember, recovery is so important. So if you're constantly cutting back your sleep to 6 hours a night just so you can get up to strength train, you're probably missing the forest for the trees, and it's probably going to do you better service if you can find another time during the week to actually get a good strength training session in, as well as a solid 7 to 9 hours sleep. Now, let's say they do that 3 times a week. To me, this is a great schedule. This allows 4 extra days for things like maybe you've got an open mat on the weekend, you've got 2 full days here, you could do recovery, or you could just do some cardio on those days if you're feeling up to it, and you've got Sunday, rest day, doesn't have to be that day, but you see where I'm getting at here. If we can condense them, you actually find that you have more time. Oh my God, my handwriting is so bad. More time for recovery, but you're still getting your stimulus in. The other thing is, when we're talking about recovery from strength training, having a 48-hour gap between any muscle groups actually helps us to build strength faster. So that's also a consideration, but don't get too caught up in the weeds there. So this would be a perfect scenario. Now, you're like, yeah, but I can't do that. I've got kids, I've got a job. I only have, between 5 and 7 p.m. every night. Then I have to come home and cook dinner. Okay, that's fine. Let's say we spread them out. So we've got jiu-jitsu on a Monday. Tuesday, we do strength. We're back to jiu-jitsu. Thursday, strength. Back to jiu-jitsu. A 2-day-a-week split for strength training, when programmed properly and you stick to the program over a long period of time, you apply progressive overload, blah, 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 is excellent. It is enough to yield some results. And then even with this split, you've still got the weekend where, again, you could go to an open mat. You could just recover for those 2 days. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Recover, hydrate, make sure you eat protein, all those things so that you're ready for the next week. And if this is what you can stick to consistently over time, it's going to yield much better results than if you are jiu-jitsu and strength, strength and jiu-jitsu. And a lot of people that I talk to actually also do and judo and wrestling, etc., etc. And so they're just piling on and piling on. And obviously wrestling, judo, these things are really helpful for your jiu-jitsu, but again, it comes back to your priorities and what you can actually recover from. The good news is that over time, so if you find something that you're able to recover from and you can stick to it for a good amount of time, I'm talking months at a time, and you're feeling recovered and you can see progress happening both on the mats and in the gym, you'll find that you actually start to have a bit more capacity for some more training. So if you start at a position that works well for you, for your current level, for your goals, for your schedule, stick to it for a few months. You probably find that you can actually sneak in another jiu-jitsu session. Or if you really want to get the judo in or the wrestling in, then you can get that in as well. But we only have so much capacity. We only have so much battery. We need to make sure that we're recharging the battery so that we can hit those intensities to make the progress.